Sir brings with him a wealth of expertise and insights that promise to enrich our understanding of ethical considerations and the final point of avoiding plagiarism in academic writing. These training initiatives stand as a collaborative effort between MTEH Hindwala College, the Research Foundation of India, and the World Innovators University in partnership with Sri Shraddhanath PG College in Rajasthan. We are grateful for the support extended by HERS, WFSC, ARGA, Edu Academy Incorporation, and the World Virtual Conference Forum in making this endeavor possible. Prior to moving forward, I am inclined to present a concise overview of Dr. Suman Datta's profile to all of you. He serves as an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce at St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. His dedication to academic excellence and his profound knowledge in the field make him a valuable resource for our program. With over 19 years of experience in teaching and research, he has made significant contributions to academia. He has edited 3 books, authored 1 casebook and 1 research book, all published by prestigious Indian publishing house. His book titled Research and Publication Ethics in Social Science for MPhil and PhD scholars was mandated by the UGC for 3 PhD registrations. Moreover, he has authored more than 40 research papers published in various national and international journals, including UGC-CARE. He has served as a resource person for numerous national-level workshops focusing on research ethics and the art of writing research papers in social science, organized by different research bodies in India. He has been invited as a reviewer by the Editors-in-Chief of the Journal of Indian and Asian Studies, Institute of Indian Studies, HUSS, Korea. Currently, he holds the position of Associate Editor at the biannual peer-reviewed research journal named the International Journal of Academic Research and Development. His scholarly work has been widely recognized, evident from citations in the SSRN Top 10 Downloads list and Google Scholar. In 2019, he received the National Education Leadership Award for his outstanding contributions to marketing research. Additionally, he has been honored with the Teaching and Research Award in 2020, the Outstanding Postgraduate Faculty Mentoring Award in 2020 and 21, and the Education Excellence Award in 2021. As we eagerly anticipate Dr. Suman Datta's insights, let us delve into today's session with enthusiasm and a commitment to hold the highest standards of scholarly integrity. Over to you, sir. Sir, are you there? Suman, sir, are you there?
Sumanta sir, are you there, sir?
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. You are audible now. Sir, you are audible. Please start your session, sir.
Sumanta, sir? Sumanta, sir, am I audible to you? Kindly start the session.
audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Now you are audible.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Please start the session.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I'm
Sir, good evening. Please start the session, sir. You are audible, sir.
okay.
I request all the participants to please turn off your microphone.
A very good evening to all of you. A very good evening to all of you. Okay. And I think the Research Foundation of India and the College of Institute of Management Studies Physical for giving me this opportunity. Today, my topic was understanding the ethical issues in academics. Today, our topic was understanding the ethical issues in academics. Research is the backbone of civil society, and it is also real research. So, the most important thing is that you have to maintain an equity in the tripod. That is between the research, and the institution. That is very important in this connection. Okay. Now, am I audible clearly?
Sir, it's not clear.
Sir,
No, sir, no, not clear.
Let's see.
Sir, you log in with the ID, sir, 2 times.
Sumanta, sir, your voice is echoing. Sumanta, sir.
I think there is some technical issue at this end. Sumanta, sir, are you there? Again, sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sir, कर रहे हो join फिर से, ma'am?
Yes,
Am I
yes,
audible all of you right now?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in this tripod, the most important thing is that the researcher, and the institution. Because the most important thing that when we are talking about the unethical practice in the research, the most important issue arises that are we giving due respect to our research? Are we giving due respect to our institution? So automatically the question arises that in the context of managing the issues like research ethics or publication ethics, or managing the plagiarism related issue, the most important part, are we respecting this? People are involved into this particular matter, people, institution, and the theme of the research. Now, in this context, the most important thing arises that if you can focus on this another important topic. The topic is that the point arises in this context is that where when the research-related misconduct can happen. Now, if you ask me this question, the point I can explain in my own way. The research-related misconduct can happen at any point of time, of your research journey. You cannot say that it happened before your PhD program or during your PhD coursework or PhD program or after. So whenever you are awarded, at that time the research-related misconduct can happen. It can happen at any stage of your research journey. So maintaining the research integrity becomes very, very important in managing these unethical practices in the research. Now, in this context, the most important thing that strikes our mind in the present context is that how and what is the research fraud and why we are talking about this scientific misconduct and research fraud across a different seminar on a platform. Now, point that I see here, nowadays, if you go by this particular issue, you can see one important thing, or I think all of you have noticed this particular point, that we are in the process of NEP implementation. More or less, all the states are going to implement. Now, think about the issue that gone those days that when we have a postgraduate with 2 years, we have 2 years postgraduate, 1 year postgraduate must be run concurrently. And now, undergraduate students who are entering into a new academic session, they can go for a 4 years honors with research. And automatically the problem arises, and I cannot say it's a good sign or a bad sign, but it is maybe a positive sign that students, undergraduate students with honors with research can directly opt for a PhD program. But our responsibility increased manifold. Here, ours refers to all the stakeholders like administrators, teachers, professors, and everyone. Because we have to inculcate the culture of research, good research culture. And ethical research is very important because they need to know that what is the basis of undertaking a good research with maintaining the research integrity. Now, in this context, we identified some of the main reasons of this scientific misconduct. Because of now, if you can observe 3 things coming into the picture. One is the cost of publication, the publication time. Time of publication becomes very lengthy. Okay, because if you're submitting your paper in a very good reputed Scopus or Web of Science or a UGC-CARE coupon or group to listed journal, automatically it will take some time. Like Indian Journal of Marketing or so many other journals. These are all very reputed ones, but it will take some time to publish your paper. Okay, so they are lengthy process. I can give you a simple example of I have submitted one paper in a journal, but it takes more than 1 year and still it is in the queue. So automatically what happens if I have to show something to my institution or department that my academic achievement within this particular academic year, then automatically I have to look for something else where I can publish it in a much more faster way. But these days, that is not possible because every good reputed journals listed in UGC-CARE or the Scopus database, they will minimum take a time to review and validate the process of their research. And automatically they are the most important thing. So automatically, when they are taking too much time to review your paper, and another important thing that when the NAC is visiting your institution, NAC is considering only those papers that was published in the UGC-CARE or Scopus or Web of Science or Publa. So that means we are under tremendous pressure because when we have to publish in the paper journals which are not only peer reviewed, but we are only UGC-CARE or Web of Science or Scopus or Publa or something like that. Now, this is the scientific misconduct territory, and that is why every day people are opt for some unethical way to achieve this particular goal of publication. Now, I will try to show you with the help of some cases, the real life cases. I have portrayed and represented in the small case study way. And there is another case of called research fraud. Now, what is research fraud? The US Office of Research Integrity, they define the term research fraud in the 3 possible categorization: FFP, fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. Now we try to go deep into the matter and try to see that what type of fabrication and falsification, how these are different, and what are the possible consequences arising out of that. Now, research fraud is an unethical process. And this is very accepted by the UGC as well, that research fraud must comprise of three basic elements, F and P: fabrication, falsification, and the plagiarism. Now, for one by one, we try to explore the cases, and then we will go to the next. If we come to the first one, that is called the fabrication and falsification, you can see this one is very interesting. Now, what is fabrication? Now, data fabrication means you have not done the research at all. You have gone through some papers and automatically the data sets are available. They have already represented the questionnaire along with the data set. So automatically you have not done the study, but based on the fake data that you have collected from the various research paper, you have developed your own interpretation and analysis accordingly. Okay, so everything should be manipulated, starting from the data and the analysis and interpretation, because this analysis, you have followed the same thing, you just represented, paraphrase this, and you have written in your own language. That is a fabrication. These examples are very common. I have seen this kind of example many times. Different researchers adopted this kind of practices. I came across one paper that was published in an international journal, and that was represented by one scholar in a national level magazine. National level magazine a couple of years ago, like 10 years ago. The national level magazines, okay, in a ISSN number, will be a good journal, okay, and it is available in a hard copy form. But I gone through the original paper, which is in an online form. So once I browsed through this online paper, I came across the same thing is being represented in this paper. That paper that was published in a hard copy form. So that is what they have done, representing the same data, but analyze the interpretation done with a minor changes. Data fabrication, same data, fake data you are using and then analyze. Data falsification is something different. Data falsification where you have done some experiment, but you have changed some of the data. That is very common among the young researchers when they are in the initial stage of their pilot study. When based on the pilot study, the data they have collected and try to interpret, automatically they are not getting a favorable result. And automatically what they are doing, because they are used to with the culture of analyzing and interpretation the data with the help of some statistical tools like SPSS or AMOS or something like that. So automatically what they are doing, they are manipulating the data and make it fit according to the software so that they can get some positive output. So what does it mean? This falsification of data is not uncommon. It is very common nowadays. I can give you some statistical result that
Samantha
will
sir?
strike someone.
Samantha sir,
Hello?
sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, your voice is not that clear. There is some background sound interrupting the clarity of voice.
Yeah, I have some the throat issue. I have some problem in my right now. I'm suffering from some issue. That is why maybe my voice is some cracking. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have taken my medicine, but still. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
that's okay, sir. Please continue.
in case of this falsification, what happened? The researcher did some experiment, but somehow down the line they have manipulated the data. And how this is happening, I can give you some simple examples. Okay. Now, if you can ask me one question and directly, that sir, if someone has developed one new paper based on the process of data fabrication or data falsification, so what type of penalty can be imposed on those authors? Okay, there are two cases. Case one, data fabrication. Case two, data falsification. In case of data fabrication or falsification, whatever the mode is being adopted by the group of authors. Suppose, for example, I can give you with the help of simple example. Suppose in case of this example, there are three authors are there. Author 1, 2, and 3. Now, author 1, 2, and 3 has submitted one paper. Later on, it was identified by the publishing house that entire data is fabricated or maybe falsified. Now, what is the consequence? What is the penalty rule? Penalty rule as per the Committee on Publication Ethics. The rule is like that. Immediately, the first author or the corresponding author should be penalized first. Now, question is, what is the penalty? Penalty should be levied because that publishing house directly communicate the matter to your head of the HEI, respective HEI. And the HEI head, it may be a principal, it may be the director, it may be a dean, will take immediate action against that particular professor if they received any kind of written complaint against the publishing house, from the publishing house. Now, question arises that if the corresponding author or the first author, or who are the first author or the corresponding author, give this argument in his favor or in her favor that, sir, I have not collected the data. The data is being collected by the third author and it is analyzed by the second author and I have done the interpretation. Then what is the penalty consequence? Whatever may be the situation, as a first author, you will take the entire responsibility of the penalty consequence. So penalty will be imposed on you immediately. But second and third author, based on their suspected data, the second and third author will also be penalized equally. Now, question arises, what is the suggestion given by COPE in this context? COPE stated very clearly in this context that all the authors are responsible. If someone is collecting the data, it is the responsibility of the other two authors to verify the data and to check the authenticity of the data. Otherwise, when a paper is being submitted for publication in a reputed journals, automatically they will try to extract the data from you and they will run the software of their own. Nowadays, this is a new trend among the international level. Just a couple of days ago, I have an interaction with one of the senior professor from United States. And he is an author of a very good reputed journal. He told me that nowadays we are also expecting the data must be provided by the authors so that we can extract the data and we can run the software to see that whether the observation drawn by the author are at par with the observation they have written in the paper or same or not. Now, what can be done from the publishing house point of view? Now, from the publishing house point of view, they can go for retraction. Retraction means, suppose your paper got selected and it was published in a volume in the month of January. Later on, it came to know by the publishing house that it is a fabricated and falsified data. On the basis of that, the paper has been written. What they will do, they will retract the paper from the said volume. That means removing your paper from the said volume and issue number. This process is called retraction. I can show you some examples. What is the horrified figure of this retraction? It is a news information that is published from one of the topmost journal, topmost mint, and where you can see the news that is going around that was published, written by the Richard Van Norden. Okay, more than 10,000 research papers were retracted in 2003, a new record. That if you can imagine that in a particular year, more than 10,000 papers were retracted. Okay, it is a tip of the iceberg the author has written in that way. That means how many retraction what can happen. Okay, so nothing doesn't have any implication. It is violating the basic norms of research integrity. So what is the objective of a researcher? That contributing research for the benefit of the society or the stakeholder at large. But we are not following this one. So that needs to be created. That atmosphere must be created by the administrator, by the researcher, by the senior faculty members, among the junior faculty members and the researcher, so that we can co-create a new value system of research, because we are entering into a new era, new dawn of education system, where the undergraduate students are parallelly will go for research. So we need to be very careful about that. I can show you another data. Now you can see that this is a particular data that is being extracted from a Nature magazine. Now here it was written that more than 8,000 IEEE conference papers were retracted between 2009 to 11. Between these 2 years, 9 to 11, more than how many papers was retracted. So the volume is increasing, and in a specific year it is increasing. And also after 2020 onward, there is a sharp rise in the retraction policy of the paper. So you can understand based on this particular figure and the chart that how enormous problem it was. Okay. Now retraction can be done in a various possible reasons. Okay. One reason is that honest error. Okay. That you have gone for a data fabrication, misleading data. Sometimes what you have done, like it takes more image manipulation. Image manipulation is another common area of problem where unethical misconduct can happen. Okay, managing image, that is very important, particularly in the science domain, particularly in a domain like geography or some other area like history or archaeology or something. You have taken some image. I am coming to that point later on. Image manipulation is very common. Authorship issue. Like, who is the first author? The authors are there, but they are not accounted responsible for their own course of action. At that time, the authorship issue may arise. Authorship issue may arise for different reasons. I can tell you the reason later on with the help of some cases. Okay. And you must disclose in a paper at the end before reference that there does not exist any conflict of interest. But if later on there arises a conflict of interest, that is what you are saying as an author, what your and co-author is saying, there is a mismatch. Automatically, they can file suit against each other. That is a conflict of interest. Conflict of interest may be two types: financial conflict and conflict of commitment. Okay, like suppose I am agreed to collaborate with you to write a research paper. Now, initially we have drafted a paper initially, and then develop an abstract out of it based on our minimum information that we have done, the study that we have done, and submitted the abstract. The paper got selected. Now, after that, I know that my work is done. Now, I am not working on that particular project, and you are willing to participate and join that conference. So, what you have done, you have to develop the paper because you are not getting any kind of assistance from me. So that is a conflict of commitment. Okay, there is a lack of conflict of commitment. Now there is a financial conflict also there. In that case, what happened that you are taking some, you have done a project, a project you have taken from a particular industry, and where they are asking that if you do the research in your lab, please do some favoritism again in favor of us. So automatically, when you're taking money to do some favoritism in respect of that particular firm, that is a financial conflict arise. Financial conflict may arise when you are taking something from an industry or on behalf of a particular authority for whose project you have done, but you have not intimated the matter to your institution. So automatically there arises some problem. In that case, also the retraction can be happening. Okay. Now, in this context, image manipulation becomes another important issue. Okay. Now, in case of image manipulation, if you can see, automatically this image manipulation is not a new area. If you can go by our undergraduate level of journey, if you think about your school days, automatically you can remember that we can take any image from the Google and put it in our assignment. But as a researcher, that is not being allowed. We have to abide by and give respect to the concept of Creative Commons license. This Creative Commons license can be of different type. Okay. Now, Creative Commons license CC BY means, CC BY is a term that indicates that whenever you are using an image, write down the image name, theme of the image, and also the source where from the image map been taken by following the Creative Commons license title. Okay. Now, CC BY means BY refers to give credit to the original creator by citing properly the source. Okay, and the day of access, on which particular date you have accessed the particular image. Okay, CC BY SA means give original credit to the original creator. CC BY means, and SA means shared alike. Whatever the image that you received, you have to share the same image without fail, without any kind of minor or major modification, or maybe any kind of image or color brightness or color change. You cannot do anything. Okay, because you know that nowadays we have a software called deepfakes. With the help of deepfakes, we can manipulate the image, we can make the color bright, we can manipulate the videos, everything we can do. So that thing is not being allowed. Okay, by an SA. CC BY NC means you cannot use the image for non-commercial purpose. You can download an image and you can use it for non-commercial purpose. You cannot use for commercial purpose. Like you can use this image for teaching in your class or for the case study session, everything you can do. But you cannot use this image for the purpose of placement, developing a placement brochure or admission-related inquiry. So for that, you need to go by the CC BY 0, what is called public domain. If the image is available in the public domain, it means the original creator have given full right to all the members who are browsing through the World Wide Web can access the image and use it for the purpose of their own research or for any commercial and non-commercial purpose. So if like Shutterstock, if you are a subscribed member of Shutterstock, you can download any kind of images from the Shutterstock and use it for the purpose of your research. But you have subscribed it. That is, it is called CC by 0. It is in the public domain. CC by ND, no derivation can be permitted. Like you know that suppose you want to develop some model, suppose you are doing a research on consumer behavior and you are focusing on the TPP, theory of planned behavior. The TPP is originally has been proposed by someone else in maybe in the 1980s or 1990s. So when you are using this same model, you are not allowed to derive something out of it. You have to give the original one, and then you can extend the original one into the new one. So ND means no derivation of the one. You cannot derive anything out of the original one. So this one. So whenever you can do this, you can check the anything. Like you can go to any website. If it is an open source, open access journal, you can open the particular journal homepage, a particular volume and issue number, and see the logo that was attached with this particular paper. Every paper must be symbolized with a particular logo. It is CC BY or CC BY SA or CC BY NC or ND or public domain. You can check it out. In most of the cases, what you will find that CC BY. And that means, yes, the paper is there. Any image included in this particular paper, you can use it, provided you must provide it the source with authenticity. Okay. So at that time, this particular problem can be overcome. Okay. Now, another major element of this research fraud is called plagiarism. Now, this concept is taught too much in a various forum. Now, what plagiarism indicating by the UGC in their guideline through an extraordinary gadget is called extraordinary gadget that was published by UGC in 2018 means an academic dishonesty or a breach of ethics. Okay. Now, what is academic dishonesty? No, honesty and dishonesty, I am not the right person to judge. It is up to the person or the researcher who can judge this particular thing. Now you are coming to that point. I can give an example of a real life example, but I have modified it based on according to the situation. Like Anjali is a good researcher. She has presented a paper for possible publication in an international conference hosted by a state university. She presented the paper successfully for this technical session, and her paper got the best paper award. Now, what happened? Suddenly, once the paper got best paper, automatically it is indicating that the paper must be accepted for publication. Now, the university is thinking about to publish in the form of an ISBN book. Now, one of the editor came across with the fact that the paper has been developed based on a similar type of title and the content, which is very much similar with the paper that is available in the SSRN, Social Science Research Network repository. Now, my question is that if are you ready to penalize Anjali for the act she has done? Okay. Now, in this case, the most important thing arrives that if there are two options, if I ask you a question, automatically you will give your different opinion. Maybe you can say that yes, we will penalize Anjali for that. Okay. Maybe we will ask the authority to withdraw the paper. Sometimes I got an opinion that why not the authority review those papers before the paper has been selected for presentation and publication. Now, there are some observations from my end I can tell you. Maybe I'm correct or I'm wrong, that I don't know. But the thing is that you can take example from any colleges in your locality. All the colleges does not have an equal infrastructural base. Okay, so automatically having accessibility to the plagiarism software, authenticator, or turn in which is an internationally reputed one, is a costly affair. For a conference, national level conference, organize and checking all the papers by virtue of the software becomes an incredible task for the organizing committee members. So automatically, when by default, by taking this opportunity, if some student got presented the paper and got best paper award, we immediately will not penalize Anjali, but we try to create a culture where institute where from Anjali belongs can inculcate the culture of the plagiarism-free research culture. That is, encourage them, write of your own, don't take it. Now, these days, the concept of writing of your own is okay, but still nowadays we are also facing a very important challenges nowadays. What is that challenges now we are facing? Okay, I'm coming to that point first. Okay. Now I'm coming to that point. It's very important for us to understand that what we will do. Now in this case, okay, now this plagiarism related issue can be of different type. One is called patchwork plagiarism. In case of this patchwork plagiarism, what happened? Now, generally it is being adopted by the students and the scholars. They have collected the material from various sources and they keep their paper ready, or their draft ready, or their synopsis ready, or maybe their SOP must be ready. Most of the cases they are doing in that way. That is called patchwork. The way to overcome this problem is to go for appropriate attribution or proper citation. If I use something, some idea or something from some other papers, we have to definitely keep some citation and attribution. In that way, only the patchwork plagiarism concept can be overcome. Okay. Now, in case of the next one, the most important thing that definitely strike your mind is called self-plagiarism. Now, in case of self-plagiarism, what happens? Suppose you have written one paper in the area of your research and you are the authority on that area. Now you want to write another paper. So what you have done, you have taken something from your earlier paper. And then you have developed your new paper because you lack of time and you are overburdened with some administrative job, maybe. And then you have developed one paper and submitted the paper in your nearby college, which is going to host a conference in the coming month. Your paper was accepted and you have presented the paper and your paper got also published in an ISBN or ISSN journal, peer-reviewed journal, whatever it may be. Now, what is this? It is self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is also the similar type of offense in case of the just like a patchwork plagiarism. You are also liable even though you have taken something from your own. Okay. So here also arises the problem. How we can overcome it? We can overcome it by virtue of self-citation. Now question arises that what type of self-citation do we prefer? Self-citation may be of two types. Author's own self-citation and co-author's own self-citation. Author's own self-citation is called synchronous self-citation and co-author's own self-citation is called dichronous self-citation. I can cite myself, or my earlier co-authors can, when they are writing papers, they are citing me or one of my papers. It is being written by the various bodies across the globe that co-author's self-citation is much more acceptable than author's own self-citation. Suppose when I am writing any paper in the same area of my research, definitely I try to put my own citation less. But if some of my earlier author researchers or other my friends and colleagues are citing me automatically, that is called co-author self-citation. That will definitely enhance the credibility of the researcher. So co-author self-citation is much more acceptable than author's own self-citation. Another point arises that how much self-citation I can adopt. It is being stated that maximum 12.67% of the medium value. Okay, that we can self-cite. Okay, total of that is generally 2 to 3 self-citation, 2 or 3 maximum self-citation can be acceptable. Okay. Now another point arises called direct plagiarism. Now, if you are a scholar of English, you are a scholar of law, and automatically when you are doing research and when you are working on a particular poetic theory like Shakespeare, Keats or Shelley, automatically you have to quote. When you are writing a particular, you are working on a thesis on Rabindranath Tagore, automatically you have to quote directly from Kaviguru Rabindranath Tagore or Keats or Shelley or Macbeth, whatever it may be. So automatically, when you incorporate that thing in your dissertation, that is called direct plagiarism, because word by word, without changing the author's own language, you cannot change. You are not authorized to change, but you have to incorporate. Law students say that, sir, if I do some legal matters, I have to give the verdict of Supreme Court or local judge court or divisional court. Okay, I have to give. I cannot change the statement. I'm doing research on income tax or GST, so I cannot change the statement. So what will happen? It's called direct plagiarism. Now, in case of direct plagiarism, you can overcome this particular problem with the help of using quote. And it is also being suggested by the UGC. In this nomenclature and the extraordinary gadget that was published in 2018, what UGC has stated, they said there are two types of quote is there, short quote and long quote. If it is less than 40 words, it is called short quote. If it is more than 40 words, it is called long quote. For short quote, if it is less than 40 words, you have to put it within double quote and write down at the end on the right hand side the parenthetical citation. But if the number of wording more than 40 words, you have to call long quote. In case of this long quote, you have to put in a separate paragraph and make the points italic. Okay, without any quote, you have to put it in a separate paragraph and make it italic. And then at the right hand side, you have to give the parenthetical citation. Now there are two types of citation is available. One is called narrative citation and one is called parenthetical citation. Parenthetical citation means you have to start with the first bracket, write down the surname of the author, comma, year of publication, bracket close. But if it is narrative citation, only the year should be within bracket, but the surname of the author should be outside the bracket. Okay. But in case of direct plagiarism, we have to use the parenthetical citation. So there this thing you should need to be remembered in this case. Another point is called idea plagiarism. I can give you this example when I'm interacting with different faculty members and scholars in different parts of India. Now, what happened? Once senior professor told me one story of her personal life. She said that, sir, I am a professor of political science. I'm an associate professor. And now what happened? A couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago, I have shared one of the idea about upcoming research topic or research article that I want to write with my fellow colleague in the teacher's room when we are taking a cup of tea. By that time, after that, it became very difficult for me to materialize this thought process. Now, after 3-4 months later on, the colleague of mine came up with a particular paper on the same theme was that I have informed him a couple of months ago. And so automatically, can you say that this is plagiarism? Yes, it is a plagiarism. It is called idea plagiarism, but you cannot prove that the idea has been snatched by someone from you. Another possible way is there. Idea plagiarism can be of different types. Okay, you came across a very good paper and an online paper in the English language, in the mode of writing is English, you have gone through it, and you have developed one paper out of it in your vernacular language and publish it in a vernacular journal that was listed in the UGC-CARE. Okay, is it your own? No. Do you have any creativity? No. So automatically these type of things, the idea you have taken, you just transform it from English to your vernacular language and rewrite in your own way, and automatically get an appreciation from the rest of the other bodies who are preferring this particular journal in their local language. So automatically these things are very ongoing process, but still you cannot quantify it. That is why idea plagiarism becomes a very common thing nowadays. So what is the suggestion we can give? Don't share with your idea with someone else, particularly in case when you are working on a project, particularly maybe you are looking for a minor project or a major project or a short-term empirical project from ICSR, or when you are applying for a patent or a copyright. At that time, don't disclose and share the matter with any one of your colleague or friends. Okay, even though he or she may be very close to you, until and unless he or she is the co-associated with in this project. Otherwise, don't share. So this is a way you can overcome the problem of idea plagiarism. Okay. Now, what is the penalty consequence for this idea plagiarism? There are 4 levels. 4 levels are there: level 0, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 0 means up to 10% similarity, there is no penalty. Level 1, between 10 to 40%. At that time, what is being told to the researcher that you are not allowed to submit your research within 6 months. If it is between 40 to 60%, you are not allowed to submit your PhD thesis within a period of 1 month. And if it is more than 60%, your registration shall be cancelled, provided it is a discretion on the part of the research body. Okay. In case of the researcher with the faculty members, at that time, the penalty consequence for the plagiarism can be like that. Okay, as guided by the UGC. Now, provided that must be notified by the publishing house to the HEI head. What they have suggested that up to 10%, there is no penalty. If it is between 10 to 40%, then the head of the HEI can direct you to submit your manuscript if it is more than 40 to 60%, automatically they can not only ask you to withdraw your paper, they can ask the particular respective candidate. They can stop their one annual increment, and they are not allowed to guide any MPhil, masters, or maybe a PhD scholar for a period of 2 years. If the level of plagiarism is more than 60%, automatically such researcher shall be withdrawn the manuscript. 2 annual increment can be stopped, and the persons shall not be allowed to guide any master's, MPhil, and PhD scholar for a period of 3 years. Now, how it is possible? Who will take the decision in this context? It is being stated that UGC has been specifically recommended the two types of committee. One is called Departmental Academic Integrity Panel, and the other one is Institutional Academic Integrity Panel. The Departmental Academic Integrity Panel must comprise of 3 members, and then they have to submit a report to the every department. They must create this particular department. If they have PhD program, they must report any matter arising out of plagiarism related issue must be submitted to within 45 days to the IAIP, Institutional Academic Integrity Panel. And IAIP, Institutional Academic Integrity Panel, they must have one common committee comprised of 4 members for entire HEI. They will take the final decision whether they will cancel the registration of the candidate or whether they will stop the annual increment of the faculty members or not. Okay. So this is the entire concept of this ethical issue related to plagiarism. Okay. Now, so what we can do, in short, okay, in short, we can say that don't copy from others, write in your own language, okay, don't recycle or don't go for the fabrication or falsification or image manipulation. If you want to take an image where it is being written that non-commercial purpose or no derivation can be allowed, at that time you can ask a written mail to the author or to the publisher and ask for permission. Whenever you are getting the permission, you are allowed to incorporate that particular picture or table into the particular paper. And lastly, what I can say to all of you, creating awareness about this plagiarism issue among all, particularly to the new generation UG scholar, to the new generation UG scholars who are passing through the new phase of NEP implementation process, and all our existing PhD scholars, and so that we can co-create a culture with the help of all the esteemed faculty members who are right now in the session, and they must agree the opinion that I'm sharing with all of you, that this is a very right time, that once we create this awareness, automatically to some extent, we all in a collaborative way can co-create a good ethical culture. Otherwise, we are not able to manage the situation. Due to my health issue, I'm ending the session for today right now. I'm making it very small. I'm very apologetic for the from Ajay sir and all the esteemed members and host members because of my health issue. I cannot speak too much. I tried my level best to inform you about this issue. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Over to you.
It's completely fine, sir. Thank you so much. So, as we come to the end of today's session, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each participant. I express sincere thanks to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Sumanta Datta sir, for his invaluable time and dedication in sharing his expertise with us. We truly appreciate your commitment to the session, especially considering that you were not feeling well, but still choose to take it. I also extend our deep appreciation to the organizing committee and its sponsors for their unwavering support, which has been instrumental in making this program a success. With profound gratitude for everyone's involvement, we formally conclude today's session. Thank you immensely for your contributions.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yes, sir. This session, sir, एक session end हो गया है. Actually, yes, sir. Actually, sir is not feeling well. Yes, sir. Everybody can sign off. Thank you so much.